Caltrop is an area denial weapon designed to stop the enemy. The Caltrop is a sturdy, simple, yet effective weapon no matter its position. Its purpose was originally designed to stop elephant and donkey attacks. It graduated to stopping tanks. And now, the Caltrop is your defense against propaganda, polished lies, and manufactured outrage. It's free from counterfeit credibility and synthetic truth. However, inside the walls of the Caltrop, you're going to be forced to think. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Mike Calderese is the Caltrop.
Coming down the mountain from the heaven to the hell, the Mike Calderese, the Caltrop, he never stops, so ring the bell. He bring the facts, he's been up every morning till we sleep. He get it deep, Mike Calderese, in your head and in your sheets. And we don't mind, and we don't care, Mike Calderese is the Caltrop. And we don't mind, and we don't care, Mike Calderese is the Caltrop. And we don't mind, and we don't care, Mike Calderese is the Caltrop.
Good evening and welcome to the Caltrop. I am your host, Michael Calderese. And apparently, if you read the internets and the interwebs, which, listen, you guys are making me blow up on. I've never had a video go 200,000 views in one day. Thank you, everybody, for sharing that. But apparently, I am not just your host. I am the racist, bigoted, asshole, I don't know, everything else. Everything else you want to call me. I am that guy. And remember, you are here because you want a defense mechanism from the lies. You were here, if you ask me, and you watch me because you understand one simple truth. I don't give a fuck. I am going to tell you what is on my mind, how it's on my mind, in the way it's on my mind. And I don't care about your feelings. I don't care about your names. I don't care about any of that happy horse shit. I care about solutions. I care about cutting through the programming that we are all subjected to every single day, day in, day out, whether it's local news sources, national news sources, your damn piano instructor. We are subjected to programming, and programming, it's on a scale where it's somehow they could make people believe with just a couple of media stories something that they didn't believe in just 2 weeks prior. And we watched it happen with COVID. We watched liberals go from hating big pharma to being the biggest pharma salesman. And we watched the right kind of flip-flop and the left kind of flip-flop, and they go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. When Trump was railing about Obama, bombing Iran, the right's right there cheering with him. Now all of a sudden we're saying, fuck Iran. As gas prices are exploding, I don't know how that happened so fucking fast. It's like the first bomb drops, gas prices, diesel prices over $4. It's amazing how fast it happens. Like all of a sudden we're out of oil. All of a sudden we're out of oil. But we're going to talk about that tonight. We have Rickpedia that's going to be joining us, and we're going to highlight him a little bit tonight because I love his conspiracy mind. And I think on days like today times like today where we have so much going on, so much in your head, Israel and bombings and war and all of this programming that's taking place right in front of our eyes, and watching the defense mechanisms go up based on programming. It's all very interesting to watch. And it's all honestly predictive based on human nature. So it's going to be something interesting to talk about. I cannot wait, but let's waste no more time and get this game going with the mics right. Shut the fuck up and listen. Oh, man, that thing did not want to turn on there for a second. All right, have you ever noticed something strange about America right now, everybody? Every group of people has their own version of reality. Not their own opinion, their own reality. The same event happens. The same video plays. The same words are spoken, and somehow 5 different groups walk away remembering 5 completely different things about what they just saw or heard. And the more I watch it happen, the more convinced I become of what we're really witnessing. And that is mental programming. Not in some sci-fi robot sense. I'm talking about human programming in multiple ways. Because if you really think about it, our programming starts the moment we're born. It starts in the home. What your parents believe, you typically believe. What your family fears, you fear. And what your family hates, you typically hate. And you inherit that behavior. The schools pick that up where the home leaves off. Then the media takes over where the school stops. And by the time you're an adult, most people aren't even thinking anymore. We're kind of like running software. And then there's a whole bunch of different types of programming. By the way, it's Friday. So we drink on Fridays and enjoy our weekends. There's many different types of programming. The first one is group programming. Why is it that certain groups of people think the same way, react the same way, even remember things the same way? Sometimes they even misremember things the same way. You ever notice that? Every group has its own narrative. Every one of them has their own victim story. And they all have their own excuse-making system. And then those excuses get passed down like family traditions. You name the group, you have the programming. Political programming, racial programming, religious programming, cultural programming. And each one teaches the same basic rule. Our group is right, and everyone else is the problem. But it doesn't stop there. Then you have mass programming for all these individualized groups. The one that has been around forever. For decades, news outlets, radio stations have understood something very powerful. If you drip feed information slowly enough and long enough and frame it the right way, you could shape how millions of people think. You don't even have to lie outright. You just say things deceptively and you emphasize certain details while you ignore others. And eventually, the audience builds the exact impression you wanted them to have. And today, that system has been perfected to where they could change your mind within weeks. Because we now live in the attention economy, where social media algorithms are constantly watching you. Every click, every like, every pause on a video, the system studies your behavior, then feeds you the content designed to reinforce it. It's a feedback loop. It predicts you. It then programs you based on your own self. It programs you based on your habits, your outrage, and your political opinions. Even your sense of identity, and these things know you better than you know yourself. And if you think powerful institutions haven't been experimenting with this before, I think history would say otherwise. Look at MK Ultra. Look at Project Mockingbird. Governments studying mind control. And the media influence is a conspiracy. That is documented history. It's been going on forever. And it goes on, which I found out, at an incredibly localized scale. Then you get weird things like the Mandela effect. Entire groups of people remembering events differently. Maybe people are just misremembering, or maybe it shows something deeper about how collective memory can be shaped. But the biggest programming system in human history might actually be religion. And you guys know how much I personally love religions. But think about this. Different religions, different approaches, but they all share one similar thing. And that's discipline of belief. Every group is convinced their version of the truth is the correct one. Billions of people, all certain their religion is right, which means logically, most of them must be wrong. Then there's another layer of programming. We call that one labels. You're white, you're black, you're gay, you're straight, you're cis, you're liberal, you're conservative. Some with positive meanings, others with extremely negative ones. Or maybe you're just labeled an asshole, like me. But I consider labeling myself the whole ass, as you guys know, taint and all. But the labels serve the same purpose, and that's division. Because if people are programmed to see themselves as fundamentally different, they can never unite. And humans are already tribal by nature. We were designed that way by the God the religions all worship. But modern society has somehow figured out how to weaponize tribalism. And that's where the real chaos begins, because this does bring a lot of chaos. Because the result of all this program, all this programming, is permanent conflict. And we just saw a perfect example of it recently with that Tyler situation in Lakewood. It's fresh in my mind. That wasn't chaos caused by what's actually happened. That was chaos caused by their programming. You have a religious community that is insulated and segregated, accusing outsiders of bigotry. Meanwhile, the people they're accusing of bigotry are living in completely integrated communities. Somebody explain that to me. But here's the funny part. The people criticizing that religious community, they don't even agree with each other. They're just united temporarily, as temporary as 9/11. Because remove one variable, and suddenly we're right back to chaos. Black versus white, left versus right, rich versus poor, urban versus rural. Everyone divided, everyone angry, everyone convinced that they're morally superior. And it creates a cycle of resentment, a cycle of hatred, a cycle of paranoia. People stop seeing each other as humans. They start seeing each other as enemy groups. And then the chaos spreads. It's designed chaos, everyone. It's executed chaos. And then it's manufactured chaos. And here's the question that I keep asking myself about this. If human beings are so easily programmed, then why does the programming always focus on division and hate? Why don't they program unity? Why don't they program cooperation? Why not program happiness? Why not program love? Because imagine what would happen if society pushed those ideas as aggressively as it pushed outrage. Maybe the chaos would stop. Maybe the humanity could actually evolve. Maybe instead of fighting each other over our identities, religion, race, and politics, maybe we could finally start focusing on something bigger. That's actually the growth of human civilization. I don't know. But until that happens, we're all just living inside different programs, arguing with each other while somebody else writes the code. That's the Mike's Right. Hope you listen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let me bring in my guest. This is my conspiracy aficionado, Mr. Rickpedia. What's up, man? We got invested in a better camera for you, but it's all right. We're getting you. We got your headset. You got
I got an extra light, so I'm trying to, baby steps.
We're baby stepping our way. It's all right. You know what I'm saying? I got to break your balls. I love it, dude. So let me ask you a question, because this is an episode where I wanted to talk about stuff that you like to talk about. Because we got to get at it. I got to get away from the Iran stuff and the Lakewood stuff. I'm surrounded by Jew-splaining and calling me anti-Semites and all these videos, bro. You're not awesome.
Being out of character. It's relevant. It's going on right now, so it's not like you're reaching about that. But I get it.
No. You know what it is? It's just I'm so in depth in it. I wanted to talk to you about something different, and it's a topic that I know you love, and that is mental programming, bro. So where did you want to go with this? You tell me, what did you think about the monologue, and then where'd you want to go with it?
Oh, dude, monologue's spot on, because you kind of brought the listener through like a normal day, and we are really bombarded. You said starting at birth, and then you go to school, even when you come home. Growing up, it's your family first, then school kids kind of can undo all the good that your parents tried to do, and then you come home, you turn on the TV, and it speaks to me personally, because I started to wake up to all the negative programming, the fear programming, when I was a little kid. I would hate whenever the news was on. I would always try to put on sports news, Sports Center, ESPN, because the regular news, 9 out of 10 times it was so bad. Fires, deaths, shooting, accident, crisis. And even when I was a little kid, before I really had any responsibility, monetary ties to those things, I just like knew it just felt wrong. Like, I just don't want to hear that. And that kind of started me on my path to be more aware of, what is surrounding us. And I think that is like important for people to get out of anything from today. It's like, it's one thing to acknowledge that these things are out there, but the second part is to become self-aware of how it infiltrates your own programming all day, every day.
So let's start right here, because one of the things you read when it's this program is you have to be mindful, and we need mindfulness, right? When you hear some of the hippies talk about it, I love it. But we do have to be mindful of how we're being attacked, and we are being attacked mentally. And we see it in a lot of different positions, right? Positions at our own interest. Like when I posted this gas price, I said, guys, man, diesel's already up. I was just paying for it just during the week, the snowstorm. It was $3.75 a gallon, which I thought was still kind of high, but diesel was $3.75 through the snow. You go a week later and $50 billion worth of bombs dropped, and all of a sudden the diesel is at $3.60. I'm filling up right now, $4.60. Some people are getting at $4.80, and it's interesting watching a group of people that were voting for peace say, "Yeah, now fuck my own interests," and just because I'm a part of this tribe, and we want to get Iran, and meanwhile that's going to cost people like me. Like when it went up. If it goes up over $5 a gallon, it's going to pull what Biden did to me. And it cost me like $5,000 just for my one truck that year. And it made me stop using my dump truck. It was like the cost got so great that I had to scale back because I couldn't just pass all that on to my customers. But to watch people get the programming from one side to the other, like how the hell do you think that happens? Like what are like the three biggest problems with that?
It's a process. It's like the powers that be, whatever you want to call them, they do have meetings on an annual or even every few months basis where they plot ways where they could try to steer the collective mind to achieve their goals. It sounds like something from some fantasy horror sci-fi movie, but it's really what happens. There's one particular meeting by the Bilderberg Group. They meet every year in I think Davos, Switzerland or something, and no one's allowed in, no media, no independent journalists. It's just completely closed off, and people wonder what they talk about, what kind of mega deals are made. But the meat and potatoes of those meetings is how can they sway. What are they going to do to sway certain populations into whatever the means to the end is that's decided by the upper echelon? And the ways that it happens is it's very subtle. So if you look at the war that we're in today, with which a lot of people are unhappy with, but the conflict in the Middle East, it's not just USA, Israel, and Iran. Now there's like 17 other countries that are affected by it. How do they get Americans to be supportive of the war? It starts months, even years ago, with what we see and hear aligning, or at least we're told that American values and Israeli values are aligned, and that we need to be their muscle in the Middle East, and everyone else is bad, and us and them are good. This is something that you don't just say it overnight and then hope that millions of people would go with it.
You're right.
Embedded.
You're right. You think about it. We have been conditioned to hate Iran. We've been conditioned to hate Russia. And meanwhile, I did a monologue on Wednesday where it was like Americans are our own worst enemy. If we should really hate any group of people, it's our own damn selves. But we have been conditioned to deem Iran as the enemy, even though the majority of Iranians that I have actually met in my life, I like personally. Like they are personable people. They're very well educated. They're smart. They all know how to communicate. If you notice one thing about Iranians, they're all very smart communicators. They know how to talk. Like Patrick Bet David, he knows how to communicate, pronunciate words. It's something as an Italian I am terrible at. But they all seem smart, and they all honestly, when they get here, seem like they love this country. So they're telling me I need to hate Iran for years, bro. Like you're talking about for years. But then, like, what's the next step, right? Because I feel like they're already starting to condition you to say, hey, Syria is a problem. Libya is a problem. Parts of Turkey are a problem. Parts of Egypt are a problem. I'm already starting to hear that. Like, who's the next enemy that they're gearing up? And that's what we have to start looking out for, because this is how easily the programming happens, right?
Let me tell you what I think is happening right now. I think
Okay.
that there is a mass scramble from the major power sources of the world, finance, media, military, because they're all implicated and connected to the Epstein client list. And these Epstein files have been released. Not all of them, but a lot of them have. And because there's more out there, I think that we are seeing on a world stage anything they can throw at us to try to distract us from exposing and seeking accountability and justice for more names in the Epstein files. You got the war. There were like cancer cures that were released. There's, we
Do you notice they just released some more? They just released some more files, Epstein files on Trump that they thought were duplicates.
Yep. There's people that are trying to use different softwares to unredact the names to see what's already been released to get more information from it.
But let's go deep. So I don't want to do superficial Epstein stuff, honestly. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to get in something deep. You said something called the collective mind, right? Why don't you elaborate a little bit on what is the collective mind? Because when you talk about something, you brought something in a conversation that we had leading up to this about the Mandela effect. How do people believe something differently? And there's a lot of different theories on that, whether it's warping timelines and people doing projects from the DARPA, to something as simple. If you look at psychology and Sigmund Freud and some of these things, and I mean, I think he's discredited, but you do have something that a lot of people believe in called the collective unconscious. What if everybody is remembering it correctly, but we've been programmed to think about it differently? It's somehow changed somewhere else. But we also have, like, the collective unconscious is the fact that we are all connected. We have this unconscious knowledge of all the things that happened before us, and we could all tap into that collective unconscious. Where do you lie on this? And then you had a couple questions for me, so why don't you take it from here, bro?
Yeah, so the way that we connect, the collective consciousness connects, it's not all mental. It's actually highly intuitive. It's from our second brain in our gut, and our feelings being in alignment. As when a human being has the coherence between what they think and what they feel and what they speak, when all three cylinders are firing together, then this person has a higher clarity of mind and is able to use our secret superpowers of manifestation and creative abilities better than the average Jones. Now, when you get multiple people to energetically align with this same thought, feeling, idea, and it can be expressed together, that's when you have a collective, collective consciousness that can actually create whatever it is that they're trying to manifest. This power, this literal superpower that has been dormant inside of our systems, is known by some of those at the top that withhold, some knowledge and technology from the rest of us. They are so, they know it so well that we are actually able to be hacked now. Our thought, feeling, actions, spoken word system has been basically hacked, so that it's difficult for people to find this intuitive, this energetic feeling of connecting with each other, because of all of the mostly mental programming. There's fear-based trauma that has really negatively affected our collective emotion, because we have been very desensitized to things that should really affect our empathy, our one of our basic most honorable human emotions, that it basically is quelled because of all the stuff that we are bombarded with on a daily basis. And also the way that we feel is infiltrated chemically. We are chemically subdued into a state of apathy and laziness by the food and water and medicine. So we are being programmed. It's not all, mental is very important, because our ability to think for each other is to be considerate of those around you is just so important. And unfortunately, it's less common than what it used to be. But it's not. It's also the way that we feel and the things that we say.
All right, you're gonna have to do something for me though, because you said a couple things that you just piqued my mind on: secret superpowers and groups knowing how to tap into this shit. Now, so what are you talking about? Secret superpower? What do I have to know here? How do I gain this? And do I need that? If they have this superpower, do we need to start manufacturing Magneto helmets?
We need some sort of a reprogramming system. I don't know if we can do it in a pill or a wearable, but we need
Do we
some
need
sort
helmets? We need
we-
magneto helmets, bro. We straight up hard aluminum tinfoil helmets. I think would be great to sell.
but before you throw
Caltrop
on your
symbol on
helmet, yeah, dude, I'm down. I love the symbol right behind you. That'd be badass on a helmet. Put it on both sides, like the Buckeyes. You get stickers for the
Right?
more times you level up.
Oh, fuck. Yo, right? Can you imagine that? We have like, yes, that's it. That's it. We're doing magneto helmets.
I'm with it, but the way to identify and amplify your dormant superpower, I swear to God, the first thing you got to do actually is to get your body healthy, because we're basically like electromagnetic radios. We're like a bag of water and electromagnetic happenings, all these cellular reactions that we're not even aware of, and we literally magnetically attract things into our lives. And
Yes.
the less healthy you are, the more heavy metals and microplastics and pesticides and all these things. Your body on the inside is not firing on all cylinders. Not all the wires are properly connected. So the first thing to get is to get healthy physically. And then the second thing is, man, it is really hard to be intuitively programmed into, connecting with others when there's just a bombardment of all these signals around us. If you got your Bluetooth headphones in and you got your two phones, one in each pocket, and you got a device and you're connecting everywhere, and everywhere you go is Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, well, your signal's not going to be able to project as strongly. So unfortunately, we're going to have to put down the black mirrors if we're really going to reconnect with what I'm talking about here.
Okay, what questions did you have for me?
The question I have for you is that if you rediscovered the power of telepathy, if you learned that you can tap into someone's mind, and let's say you're like one of the first people to like rediscover this power.
You don't want to ask me this question.
I want to know. I want to know.
All right, go ahead.
I want to know, would you have the urge to use it for good, or would you have the urge to use it for self-gain?
Ooh. So just off the top of my mind, when you were talking about it, if I could tap into somebody's mind and make them do things, I think it would be good for me and bad for them, because I would be fucking with people. I would be like, have you ever seen Jim Carrey when he was given the abilities for as God Liar? What was it called?
Bruce Almighty. Bruce Almighty.
I'd be doing shit like that, dude. Fucking with people. Like fuck mother.
Yeah.
That would be my superpower. But that's just off the top of my head, man. But would I use it for good, dude? I really do believe that I would probably do both, right? Because I do believe I could use it for good and personally gain on it at the exact same time. But I would definitely fuck with people. If you were a good dude, I would try to I would be like the professor. I'd try to guide your mind in the correct ways, but who knows if I'm even going the correct way. So I would be a fucked up person to have that ability. I gotta spin.
You don't
want me to think, make people think like me.
Now
they don't want to go down that path.
Let's flip the coin. Now let's say you learn that there's something that is going on among the mainstream society, and you learn that to even just observe this one thing is going to potentially mess you up. It's gonna give you problems. Like it's gonna give a person all kinds of mental, emotional problems. And you find out that it's actually this thing that on the surface seems harmless, but it's actually really bad. Would you try to ring the alarm? Or would you kind of just take that into your own consideration, use your own discernment, and protect yourself and your people, your small circle of people?
So I don't really know what question you're asking. Say that again, because I don't know.
The first question was, if you had a superpower, if you identify the first person to identify a super ability, would you use it or
use it for good or bad? Yeah, I got that. What was that second part though?
If you find out a super ability that is negative, that is going to mess people up. If you find out this one thing that if they do this, it's going to make them worse off. Do you ring the alarm, or do you kind of just help yourself out and keep it to yourself and your people?
Dude, so it's you're getting into almost like a religious question, right? Because there's a fine balance there between if I had all this power. I think the question that you're asking me, maybe I need to phrase it like this so I can understand it. If I had all that type of power to mentally guide people where they needed to go and mentally program them and mentally do certain things, would I keep them slaves or would I set them free?
Mhm.
And to me, this is a Bible question, bro. This is a straight up Bible question, what you're asking. Because I tell people all the time, like, I really believe that Genesis 3, the snake is the one telling the truth. Because he did. And if you look at the God in Genesis 3, God wanted to keep Adam and Eve not knowing, dumb, not enlightened, not aware that they were naked. Because he didn't want them he wanted them from eating from the tree of life, cool, but he couldn't eat from the tree of knowledge. So it's like when you look at that type of situation, then it goes into freedom and freedom of choice and making your own mistakes and doing your own bad things and overcoming the bad and choosing good, because you can't regulate that type of stuff. So no, dude, I really believe that I would leave it up to the person. I think free will is what makes us special as anything, as any type of creature, whatever the hell you want to call us. The fact that we do have an ability of choosing and things aren't pre-chosen for us. I don't believe things are pre-chosen for us. So other people that do, they get other thing, but I wouldn't do that.
My worry
I would
is
let
that
people fail.
The age of having free will is actually becoming less and less common because of the way that we are able to be just completely read and analyzed just by our little phones. There's people that think about something and then they hop on their phone and they're getting an advertisement for it. So it's harder to figure out if ideas that come to yourself are genuinely from yourself or if it's been embedded from somewhere else. And then it's harder to figure out the things that we see on the screens. Is it real or not? It's really the battlefield has really been turned up a notch because. Do
you think there is original thought at all anymore?
You know, it's tough because you could say that there's especially for the people who believe that God and the devil is like opposing thoughts and feelings on the inside, on the inner mechanisms of our mind and our heart. It's like it's hard to know what comes from divine inspiration, what's like a demonic thought, what comes from like the horror movie that you watched last night. So I'm not sure. I like to think that I'm original, but you know, if I'm sure you can micro.
I really think I'm a regurgitator of information, that my brain somehow is just really good at picking up information that I've heard. Like I've always been if I listened to a teacher give something and I actually paid attention, I would remember it. I'm not a reader and rememberer. You know what I'm saying? So it's tough for me like that. But I don't know. I hope I have some original thought, and I hope I have. You know, I think it goes down to where my thoughts probably had before in the past. Yeah, but were they applied the same way in the same situation? Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know, but it's interesting to think about, right?
Yeah, that's a great question. The only way to check yourself to know if you're having an
before you wreck yourself.
Yeah, dude. Well, no, sometimes you got to wreck yourself. I think to actually identify if you're having an original thought is to act on the impulsive, intrusive thoughts. Spontaneity, just impulsively acting upon a thought, to me, has kept me grounded and sane and knowing that I'm not like some clone of a clone, that I'm actually still me. Because I've always been the guy that would just like, you know, be walking and just see a half water bottle and just toss it up in the air and just keep walking. It kind of keeps me in check and lets me know that I'm still at least a little bit control of my mind. So I would say just express your weirdness. People are scared to do that. But if more people just started doing that, then that's original thought, but people are scared to express it.
Dude, you're not bullshit. Let's get to some chats. Let's start in the YouTube chat. We'll work our way over to Rumble, and then we'll work our way over to Facebook. So we have Amen Disker says, hey, girlfriend. Ow, sorry. It's Friday. Totally random. Says knowledge is power, but you need to do your own research in order to formulate your own thoughts and opinions. In this day of mainstream media, you have Mike hit it by saying the same picture could get 5 different stories. Yeah, man, I think we saw that really in that Minnesota ice shooting. You know, you had people saying that she didn't even hit the gas. I don't know how they even, you know, came to that conclusion, but you heard people that had so many different versions of that. Tony Random also says, Ironic how more Epstein files are released implicating Trump, yet Congress voted against releasing their own misconduct files. That's part of the programming, though, isn't it? Isn't it? You know, Rickpedia, because they will selectively release certain things, not give you information with others. Then it's like, well, okay, we'll only give you this part of it, but not that part of it. And here, look here, don't look here. The misdirection. They want you to believe what they want you to believe, dude. It's all part of the game.
Also, the way that the information was releasing, just dumping, just like the majority of stuff, just all at once, all pictures and videos for people to see. That is actually a form of trauma-based mind control. It's overwhelming the stimulants inside of your mind that are supposed to be holding up those red flags for, oh my God, this is crazy. Because we get it all at once, it just kind of quells our feelings of against it.
No fucking bullshit. We're gonna get to trauma-based mind control in a second. I want to know all about that, bro. The Boat in the Rumble chat says, "Let's fucking go! It's Friday night, baby." The Boat, man. Always check them out on Reignited channel on Rumble, bro. They are wolves and wives, man. The three of them just do a fucking great job. Make sure you check them out. The Boat says, the sexiest racist I've ever seen. Hey, dude, listen, I am delicious. I got to tell you something. You know, it's Italian. I don't know what it is. We just have the confidence, I think. But I appreciate it, buddy. Jersey Abe says, check on what's tagged on my Facebook page. I will check that out after. Again, Jersey Abe has been working hard on Center Cut Media. Do me a favor, everybody. Give Center Cut Media some love. It's getting up and getting running. It's a work in progress, but I'm loving what he's doing. www.centercutmedia.com. Really appreciate it if you guys do this. The Irony, New Jersey says, I like this guy, Rick. See, I like this guy, Rick, too, man. That's why I have him on Fridays, you know. The Boat says, tell Amen Disker I say what's up. She sounds awesome. Amen Disker, the Boat wants to know if he could get them digits, bro. He's sitting there in Utah going, man, she sounds hot. All right. Jerry Caldery says, we are connected by blood, all being human. We are taught in school history, at least we were, and keeping that in mind is why we think the way we do. What we are taught in school forms our thought process. Totally agree with him. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's kind of related to the trauma-based mind control, because what the programming is for a person is to make them try to feel. So trauma-based mind control programming works when a person feels like they are isolated from a group. They feel like they're separate and different and bad for some sort of way or ways. And to get that sort of isolation and detachment, that makes that goes into your primal fear emotions, your fight or flight. But when you're in school and you're learning about things together, it feels good when, the class is all right. But then if you graduate, you find out that was all bullshit. It's going to destroy your whole reality.
Well, that's what happened to me with Catholicism, honestly. Right? Because I went to a Catholic high school. I went to Catholic grade school, Catholic high school, and then a Catholic college. My college was so Catholic, it's where they taught the Catholic priests how to molest kids. It was crazy. They had a whole molesting wing of the that's obviously bullshit. But what do we call the seminarians? We call them, right? They were the biggest group of piles of shit. I've spoken about them before that you'd ever want to see in your life. So when I was faced with what I was told as a kid and what I told Catholicism was, and what I was told religion was, and what I was told what the Bible meant, when I actually studied the Bible and read it for myself and started thinking on my own, thinking about not what these people told me the Bible meant, I actually read this passage and say, what did this mean to me? Right? Because I was told that Genesis 3 meant that, Eve did something wrong and the snake was deceptive and all this other horseshit. I was told that. But when I read it, I was like, wait a second, that doesn't make any sense. In the things that you're told versus what you actually experience, then you're faced with the reality, and you're right. It legit crushed Catholicism in my mind, and it didn't just crush Catholicism. It really put a different light on all religious thought with me, because I think it's all
fear for thousands of years. They say if they use fear as a weapon against common people for thousands of years. They say if you do this, you're gonna burn in this fire pit forever.
Yes,
then you're done. Like it's that is the way to get someone to just completely get in line with whatever you want them to do.
100%.
It's more subtle nowadays. You know, back in the day, they would, I guess I'm talking about not even just religion, but like they would just say, "Oh, she's a witch," and burn her, and then anyone else, and they just scare the shit out of everyone else. You know,
you remember that? Yes, she's a witch, so we have to burn her.
Burn her, and then the whole town
it doesn't
be like,
spread.
Right, well, I'm not
Witchdom
gonna get out
doesn't
of
spread.
line
You gotta love it. Paul, this is a nice Irish name. Castellucci says the smartphone is TV mastered. You are not playing around, man, at all. Then they start talking about, how do you mic? Oh, no bullshit. Mike Sledge says, yo, brother, my karate brother. What's up, kid? Christo, Markopolis, I can't even say it. Macropoulos, you have to tell me how you say your last name. I think it's Macropoulos. Jersey Watch says, I just shared this to share the show in a group across Facebook. Dude, you are a stud. Thank you very much. Dude, by the way, finger blast the fuck out of my like button. My like button loves it when you finger it. I'm going to tell you, it just loves her. And when you do what the Jersey Watcher did, and go ahead and share the show, man. That does a lot of things for us. And if you want to support me, remember, this is my Zelle account, baby. I didn't have any love for the last show. No love for your homie. This is called value for value. If you think I am providing you some value here, I would really appreciate it if you could to provide some value back. I have a starving baby downstairs that needs your money to feed it. He eats nonstop. He eats breakfast, then he eats breakfast with me, and then he eats another breakfast with me. Okay? Like, he is hungry. He needs food. So if you have the money, go ahead and hit me up with some Zelle. Pause the show right now. Click it on. Anybody that does donate, I'm going to put it. I'll put your name on blast on the show. I really appreciate you guys. I'm being serious. If you can. I really, I would love to start doing this more full time. You guys know that. But thank you very much. It's your way of tipping. I mean, you tip your damn waiter. You could tip Rickpedia for giving you all this, or would you rather tip Rabbi Mike? You could tip Rabbi Mike right here at this Zelle account right there, okay? Rabbi Mike loves it if you would just give him all your money through Zelle. Pretty soon I'm going to have the other ones. I'll throw up some more of those things. The boat says nailed it. Last ones. Eric, dude, old school people are watching this, dude. I got my man Eric Rapp watching. Love it, bro. How the fuck have you been? That's probably like the oldest name in my head right now is that guy. Last comment, Samuel Ross says, everyone known and accepted prophet or Messiah has always spoken against the structure of religion and spoke only about our personal relationship with God. Typical Italian baby. They never stop eating. My daughter is the same way. Oh, yeah, man. He is an Italian baby. He knows how to eat. He loves everything, too. He loves everything. And Rabbi Mike loves to bless him. He loves to bless him. Mm-hmm. And then when I make him eat, you know, when I take food away from me, he does this to me. He says, "Go fuck yourself." Yep. And if why don't we just kick them all? This is just a random Somalian guy because I like his eyes. I love that guy. He's my favorite. He's my favorite. All right, so Rickpedia, let's get back to this, bro. What did you have anything else like as far as question wise or what?
Well, I just want to. Well, yeah. All right. So,
all right, cool.
Another way that they freak people out and they program our minds is by collect like massive gaslighting. It's just like that, like gaslighting a whole group. There's been very interesting studies done that have showed there's been like 20 people in a room, and the 21st person that comes in was the only person that wasn't in on the gag. And the guy, they were given two pieces of paper, like a square and a circle, and the guy holds up a circle-shaped object, and they were supposed to hold up the paper that represented the shape. It went around the whole room. All 20 went first. Square, 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 square. The person on the end is thinking that they're losing their mind. Something must be wrong. How is everyone seeing this square from the circle? Square after square. It finally gets to them. Even though they knew that the answer was wrong, they held up the picture, the shape of the square, so as to not be the only one that's right, so as to not look crazy. So why
the fuck do you think that is, dude? Like, why do you think people act like that? Because I want to truly believe that I would be the one that stood up and said, "That's a circle. You were all a bunch of fucking morons." What are you seeing?
It's because look at yourself, Mike. Dude, you're a confident, happy dude. You're gonna just say how you're feeling. You don't give a shit who's around. You don't care who's listening. You don't care what they got to say after. People don't have that. People don't have their authenticity, their spark. Their divine spark, man. People are scared to express themselves. So instead of expressing themselves, which might be different from a group, they would rather just get along, just follow. And it's sheep's
So where do you
led to the
think where do
slaughter,
you think
brother.
that comes from, dude? Where do you think we're just ingrained with that? Because I think it comes that like I really do believe it. Like stuff like that makes it seem like we're either created that way or it's a defense mechanism from nature and we evolved into it that way. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's a
Or
combination of both. Or yes, go ahead.
or there might have been some very intelligent genetic engineers, some scientists thousands of years ago, tens if not hundreds of thousands of years ago, that snipped a couple of telomeres on the end of our
Oh,
genome
okay.
and
So
recoded
so
us. Yeah.
so let's get into that, right? Let's get into this heart. So for a lot of people, they don't know what he's talking about. I believe it's a chromosome, right? So what is it? We have 48 chimps have 48 chromosomes and we have 46, right?
Mm.
Isn't it to where they capped the second chromosome or something like that, where they
Yes.
took the okay?
Yep. They added the telomeres, so they capped 2 of the chromosomes. And you know, they don't tell us what DNA is, man. For years, I was told that 90% of DNA is junk, but I don't believe that anything of that exists just by coincidence or accident. So what I believe happened to us a long time ago, and it could have been the group written in the Bible called the Elohim, because that's not just one person. That's like that represents a group. They've also been called the Anunnaki.
The Anunnaki. That's what I was going to say. Yes. Yep.
Yeah. They've had.
Well,
a
they're
couple of names.
technically there were and the Anunnaki are referenced in the Bible as well.
Yeah, and the Book of Enoch, which was removed from the Bible, but
Yep.
there. Long story short, to simplify it, there was a race of very powerful. When I say powerful, I do mean physically powerful, like bigger than the normal modern human, but also just like mentally and spiritually powerful. They had like literal superpowers. They had technology that would seem like magic tricks to us today, and they also had a vast knowledge of the genetic code. And I believe that we were tampered with a long time ago, and that now what is normal and natural for us to know about the people in modern society, I think that what is really what we're supposed to be doing is not gone. It's just cut off. It's kind of like forgotten. And that's why I said, like, we got like superpowers. And I used the word dormant. I said dormant superpowers, because I think that there's super amazing abilities within each of us. But long time ago, it's been edited from the code that our body uses today. Now, I don't really have the proof. I can't prove that, but something does feel kind of wrong. We shouldn't be so quick to follow. We shouldn't be so quick to worship things outside of ourselves. We shouldn't be so easily in the cycle of self-harm and putting ourselves down. But that's just the way it is.
You look at all so were we designed that way? Because it seems like that's how God wants us. God wants us as followers. God has always wanted us as followers, right? So let's just take the religious thought process here. Take the Christians, for example. In their mind, you're born a piece of shit. And you have to repent for being a piece of shit. Like I never really thought that way. I don't even understand how it is. But you're born a sinner. You're always going to be one, and it's negative connotations. But it's also fall in line, follow what this person does, follow what this person does. It's why do you think that took place? Because I think we were actually born not to follow. I think we were born wild. I think we were born like they used to say that if my son, for example, if babies were born mobile and with teeth, they'd be the biggest terrors on the planet. Right? Because they were just like, if you look at id, ego, and super ego, they're just basically the id. They're just moving off of primal instinct. And if primal instinct could move and had teeth, they'd be deadly as fuck, right?
It's valid. I mean, to answer your question, it's tough for me to say.
Sorry, go ahead. What are you saying?
It's just tough for me to answer your question because it hurts me because I'm Christian. I follow Jesus. But I mean, the answer to your question of why do you think that this kind of thing has been programmed? I mean, telling people that they're born of sin. I mean, it's really a disempowering campaign. It's like to say that like you are flawed and there's nothing that you can do. Like the basic message of the Bible, what you're talking about right now, is that you're flawed. You're born of sin, and there's nothing you can do about it by yourself. Meaning that what they say is like it's not through your works. It's only through the example of following Jesus Christ. It's like the only way that you can do it. So it's like it takes away the power. In your perspective, what I'm saying is it takes away the power of the individual. Because they say, well, it's just little old me. So what am I going to really do about it? So I'm just going to get in line. And this religion here says that I will burn in this lake of fire if I do this and this and that. So I'm going to not do that. I'm just going to keep quiet, be in line, and I'm good.
And I read things totally different.
It doesn't help people because then, people are just inclined to sit back in the sidelines and think and fall into the victim programming of, oh, well, what's little old me, poor little old me against the world.
Yeah, and I don't fall into the we're born sinners because Eve ate the apple. If anything, her eating that apple created what we have today. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't see how that was a bad thing. I don't see how us having our eyes opened to be like the gods could ever be a bad thing. And it's just weird how people are able to take some Bible passages and then push it off as to, yes, this is just widely accepted shit. It's like this, right? How many times have you heard this saying? It says in the Bible, and this is you fucking Christian assholes. Sorry, not you personally, but this is you Christian assholes that are out there. You say this all the time, and I don't understand why you say it. You say, well, it's in the Bible that it says those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. Have you ever heard that said before?
I don't like it.
Right, but what does it mean? Right, it means nothing because it doesn't fucking exist in the Bible. Nowhere, anywhere in any Bible that has an English translation does it say that. And what they're talking about is Genesis 12. I think it's 12:8, and it does not say anything about Israel. Nowhere, but because somebody recited a lie over and over. Is this like the Mandela effect where they think it says something where it really actually doesn't say it? Because it doesn't say anything about Israel until Genesis 32. So it's like, and then Israel is just a person. It's never really been a place. It's been a person forever.
Right.
And even if you look at it like down, in was it Zechariah? They had in Zechariah where God is saying that Israel has been a plague on the earth. I don't know if it was the state of Israel or the person Israel.
Yeah, I think the only to kind of get back to like to answer like both your questions here. So like what was the first part was what could have been bad about like the whole, like what did Eve really do that was so bad? The only thing I can think of is that it's just like an energetic thing. It's like we have 7 energy points, the chakras. It's like your third eye and your crown is like the highest vibration of the frequency, the highest vibration of frequency that you can aim to achieve. And the lower energy points in the chakras, the root and the sacral, the solar plexus, that's kind of like your primal, like that's like getting your lusting and eating and stuff like that. So I guess maybe if that has something to do with it. And then with that's the only bad thing that I could think of, like why it was so bad, like why the fall, why we're born of sin. Maybe we fell down, we used to vibrate at a higher frequency and now we're like stuck in this primal zone. And then, oh man, you just talked about the, crap. I was going to relate it. I'm sorry, man.
That's all right. Something. Listen, I lose my train of thought.
Mandela effect. Okay. Yeah. And
yes, Mandela effect.
Yeah. Has it been? So yeah, people basically, we are so lost and confused today that it's hard for us to tell exactly where we came from and who we are if we use just our mind and our eyes, because there's just so much BS out there nowadays. So the only way we can really do it is by being able to feel with each other, but that's, I don't know, that's like a super ability that we don't have right now. And then wait, Mandela effect. I want to just touch on Mandela effect a little bit. There's some really good ones. There's a lot of them, but there's a few that really hit me home. And I want to know if any of these speak to you in any type of way.
Okay.
Too.
Let's see.
Okay. So Queen, the song by Queen, We Are the Champions. The Mandela effect is that at the last line. All right, so I'm going to start the last line, and let me see if you can finish. You don't got to sing. You just got to tell me what the line is. But the last line, the last time they sing, no time for losers, because we are the champions. Do you remember anything that's said right after the last time he says that?
The last time? Because
Yeah,
the only
like
thing I'm thinking of is we are the champions of the
of the
world.
world. Yes, see, you also remember. So apparently that's not real. Apparently in our current timeline that is not the way the song ends. Yeah.
Oh, bullshit.
Dude.
That's not the way that fucking
They're
song ends.
gaslighting us, brother. They're trying to program. They're fucking with us. All right. Britney Spears, oops, I did it again. They used to sell dolls where she had a headpiece and a microphone. Now you can't find the video anymore. Now there's no
I got
microphone.
2 turntables and a microphone. It's where it's at. Sorry, go ahead, bro.
Dude, you're good. Have you ever played the game Monopoly?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the little guy, the little black and white guy running. He's like running and he's got his hat. Do you remember him wearing anything on his face?
I don't remember the black and white guy running. No.
Okay.
I don't remember that at
the
all.
little guy with the beard. I remember a monocle. He had the little hourglass thing in his eye, but apparently there's no monocle.
I don't remember that guy. Okay.
Okay. Lucy. Okay.
Hey, Lucy, I'm home. Lucy.
I'm home. Now, what did he used to say to Lucy when she would mess up? If she messed up, he would say, "Lucy, you got
some splaining to do.
you got some explaining to do." Yeah, never happened. Allegedly, never happened. Apparently, we're Mandela affected by yeah.
All right, hold on one second. Jay Calda, I know you're old, and you're in the chat. Anybody that's old out there and you remember Lucy, is that really what he said? Because I thought he said that when he was drunk one time. I thought I watched it happen. No?
Got some explaining to do, dude. I remember that pretty well too. Apparently, it was never a line. There's so many of them, and it's just tough because I think it's kind of being used as another divisive tool to get people now fighting about whether or not, it's Luke, I am your father, or no, I am your father. You know what I mean? Instead of being able to watch Star Wars together and enjoy, now we got to nitpick. We got to bicker at the bullshit. There's so many. There's so many. I'm trying to pick some for like an older audience.
Dude, so first off, put it in the chat right now. I want everybody's opinion right now. We are the champions of the world. Do you all remember that? Just give me a yes or no if you remember that, because that's going to be. I remember that like it was yes. That was the very end of the song. No.
Yeah. I've karaoke'd it, man. I remember. I know it.
And they're saying that doesn't exist. That's not the real.
And they really did me dirty. They really did me dirty with the underwear, man. When I was growing up, all I had was Hanes or Fruit of the Loom. That's all I had. And the Fruit of the Loom, I had the cornucopia, man. I didn't even know what it was. I had to be explained. And then I remember being in school and seeing like Thanksgiving class and the picture.
What's a cornucopia? It's the thing with the fruit in it, right?
Yeah, like the triangular basket that like opens wide and kind of no cornucopia. Allegedly.
Oh, bullshit!
Apparently, they never had a cornucopia.
Definitely in my underwear. I bet I get a pair of underwear right now.
Dude, I'm telling you, but this is where we are. This is the state of the world we're at right now. In 2009, these men.
No, why do you think this is happening? Do you think we have a split in the universe, like string theory or some shit, or universes colliding, or are they fucking with timelines? Do you think any of this stuff? Do you think we're merging timelines and moving into a darker one? What's the story here?
Okay, I think it has something to do with that. I don't know what team I'm on. I don't know if they have. They're messing with the timelines for the purposes of like time travel, and they have kind of intercrossed a couple of different dimensions from the multidimensional spectrum, and that we have kind of like a bleed in time. I don't know if they fucked up and they did some stuff that they shouldn't have down at the LHC, the Large Hadron Collider, the particle smasher, and 40 miles under the ground in Switzerland. I don't know if they opened up a wormhole and have just been messing with the time. I don't know if they have control of it. Maybe they did something and now all this information is coming in, and it's tough, man.
Or maybe they're just deleting some things to fuck with us, to make us seem like we're crazy as fuck. I don't know, because
I'm saying they might be gaslighting us to make us question our reality, to make us more easily subdued. Be like,
Jerry,
oh, you know what? I don't know. I'll just go along with whatever they say.
Jay Calda says, yes, Ricky said that all the time. Lucy, you have some splaining to do. 100%, he said. I believe Jay Calda because he's old. I mean, just looking at me, he's just old. Old balls, gross. No, I'm just, I'm just fucking with you. That's actually my father. Mariah says, huge song. Samuel Ross says, yes, they played that song when my hockey team won the league championship I gotta expand this. In the Brick in the House League at the Ice Palace in 1996, 1997. We went to overtime, so free skate were there to watch it. So it was definitely, we are the champions of the world. Yes, 100%. So there we go. The boat says, I remember we are the champions of the world. And anybody else says, totally random in the YouTube chat says, but you get free chicken parm. That is the truth. I got free chicken parm and it was delicious. Let me tell you something. Cordy's fine Italian cuisine. One, they are the champions right now of Brick. I think I'm going to get him a championship belt. Let me know what I should get him. I asked him, what do you want? Because he was the first one. Should we do a certificate, a plaque, or a championship belt? He said, whatever. That means I'm doing championship belt. But it was delicious, man. We had Cordy's take it. But hey, listen, if you're in Brick Oven was absolutely tremendous. They got first place. It's called Brick Oven Restaurant. It's a really small place. You better get there because it's small tables, but it is delicious food. They took number one in presentation. Their chicken parm was beautiful. And the best part about it was that it was free for me. That's the truth. Yes, it was awesome. And he says it's the whole persuasion. But yeah, dude, that's crazy. You have any more of those? Because I want to know what else I was lied to or what they're lying to me about.
Well, yeah, there's a couple of different characters that we apparently misremember. So Pikachu, the cartoon Pokemon character, used to have a little black tip on the end of his tail, but now that's gone. It's all just yellow. Curious George used to have a tail when I was a kid. He doesn't have a tail anymore. Similarly, Mickey Mouse, I don't remember Mickey Mouse having a tail, but now Mickey Mouse has a tail. So they messing around with some of the tails of some of those creatures.
Interesting. I thought Curious George had a tail.
I thought Curious George had a tail too, but apparently he doesn't anymore. The Matrix, the movie The Matrix, when one of the first interactions that Morpheus and Neo have when he tries to teach him about the Matrix, about the alternate world that he doesn't know about, he basically paints him a picture and says, what if I told you that, and he starts explaining an analogy to, the Matrix before he gives him the pills. That apparently, what if I told you is never in the movie. The Berenstein Bears.
No, where was it? Because I definitely watched that part.
Yeah.
I didn't imagine it. I could promise you I did not make up parts of the movie in my head.
Yeah. And hearing this stuff's going to make you want to go back and rewatch some of these movies. That famous
really
scene, that famous scene in Risky Business when Tom Cruise is in his underwear and the dress shirt and he's singing with the comb and wearing the sunglasses.
And he came sliding into the
sliding in. Yeah, there's no more sunglasses. He's not wearing sunglasses anymore, apparently. No, he wasn't wearing sunglasses, apparently. I mean, I remember him wearing sunglasses, but apparently no more sunglasses. Yeah, brother. Huh. They're really fucking with us, man. Sex in the City is now Sex and the City. Shaggy, Scooby-Dooby-Doo, my man Shaggy. Zoinks, he had an Adam's apple that was even a point of comedy drawn shaking as a part of his
He definitely did.
Yeah, not anymore. No more Adam's apple anymore. Apparently, no more.
Well, that's Adam's apple are offensive for the he-she's. You know what I'm saying?
maybe, brother.
Hold on, Teresa's hammering me right now. She says, "Hey, but do the second and third trophy as well. Brick top 3." Yes, I will do that, Teresa, for you. The Brick top 3 was actually Cordy's, was Brick Oven, and was Villa Vittoria. They are all 3 tremendous restaurants in Brick, New Jersey. If you're anywhere near the area, they are so good. You should drive into the area to eat them. That was our top 3. And listen, we have Graziano's, we got Via Veneto, we have a whole bunch of different challengers to the championship. We're going to have this again, and we did our first one, so it was going to be fun. But go ahead, bro. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. There's there is a point to all this.
Totally random says, and Fat Albert was actually skinny.
Shazam. There was a movie Shazam with Sinbad in the 90s, but
yes.
But apparently, nope, that movie never existed. There was a similar movie called Kazam with Shaq, which also never existed. So Shazam and Kazam, they say that Shazam was a different actor than Sinbad, and they say Kazam with Shaq never existed.
No,
Magic Mirror.
Shazam definitely existed with Sinbad. I remember seeing him in the damn. I have it in my head. I'm looking at him right now in my head. And
why don't you
Kazam
go
was
tell
definitely
him?
with Shaq.
Yeah, why don't you go tell them that? Apparently they'll tell you no. Apparently, brother. But there's a bunch of little things like that. Little misspellings. Oscar Mayer, Oscar Meyer. Now it's Mayer, like mayor, but really it's Oscar Mayer. Oscar Mayer has a way with Bologna.
My baloney has a first name. It's Oscar. My baloney has a second name. It's Meyer.
Now it's A. Now it's
Maye. Maybe.
No, you were right, but now it's A. Now it's Mayer. And same with Berenstein.
Mayer.
They also changed the
I
E
love
to an
to
A
eat
in
them every
Berenstein Bears.
day. Huh?
And for anyone who's listening, if you want to check this one out, there's some guy posted a video.
Huh.
It's been all over the internet. This dude, for whatever reason, my man had a couple of Berenstein Bears books in a safe. I don't know if they were signed by the authors, but for whatever reason, my man had 3 Berenstein Bears book in a safe. So we heard about the Berenstein Bears Mandela effect, about how it used to be spelled with an E, Berenstein. Now it's Berenstain, Stain. So he couldn't believe it. So he just live videoed himself, opened up that safe, and pulled out 3 Berenstein, EIN bear books. So there's definitely been some either quantum jumping or timeline fraying or dimension molding. I'm not sure exactly what to call it, brother, but there's some shit amok in our reality.
Yeah, because it's the Berenstein Bears. It wasn't the Berenstain Bears.
Well, apparently it's the Berenstain Bears, brother. And I don't believe most
Berenstain?
of these. Yeah, you ever had Land of Lakes
That
butter?
sounds like a brown stain in the mattress.
Wait, you ever had Land of Lakes butter with, like, they had a big like a big brown circle and this like Native American lady like this, paddling the canoe? I don't know if you remember that. I don't know if you used to buy that butter. I did. I know that.
Dude, I remember a big lady paddling a canoe, but I also remember a Land O'Lakes Indian, just a big woman's face. Didn't she get canceled with like Uncle Ben and Aunt Jemima?
Aunt Jemima. Yeah. But then
Did Aunt Jemima exist? If they try to tell me that Aunt Jemima didn't exist, that's it. That's when I lose it on everybody.
It's worth looking into. I hope she did. I remember she was in my cabinet for years, brother. But the point, there's a point though. There's a point.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, it's fun to talk about and think about, and it's crazy to think about the implications and theorize about like why this is happening and what's going on. But at the end of the day, we know that there's things that have been, the human memory is flawed, but there's things that are ingrained into our life when we connect like an event or an emotion to the idea, so that it's more reliable of a memory. We know that we're programmed by what we eat, watch, listen to, scroll past, hear about. So we know, but we know we're being bombarded and are attempted to be manipulated or influenced. So the only thing that we can do there, because we have to come up with some sort of like a solution to it. So the only thing that you can really do is to just be more aware of all the things that are happening around you. If you just mindlessly go through things, if you just watch a TV screen and don't really think about what you're watching, I'm guilty of it too. We all kind of look like stumbling, drooling idiots. We kind of just like stare with our mouths open. If you lose your conscious thought of what you're doing, we have to be aware of our surroundings. We have to be conscious of, what are they trying to sell me? What emotion are they trying to evoke out of me? What are they trying to set up for the future? It's like, if you just don't trust anything that someone's trying to show you, and you just come from a critical mind with it, be like, okay, I saw that, but like, what else is really going on here? Are there any symbols? What are you alluding to here? What emotions are you trying to pluck out of me? If you start thinking about what you're consuming, then I don't care. You could tell me there was no cornucopia in the Fruit of the Loom, but like, I'll be better off. I'll be more connected with myself and my surroundings, just because I'm just keeping myself locked in. And it's hard. It's hard nowadays, man. But you got to do it.
What I took from this whole experiment is that I need to now save all of my underwear into a locked container. That way I could reference back to them 30 years from now. I mean, that's what you're telling me.
Make a viral video. Be like, hey, listen. Be like, listen, I haven't taken these underwear out of the safe in 25 years. Let's see if the logo is the same.
Maybe I just don't. Maybe I just wear the same pair of underwear. I have a feeling there won't be any thread left on it. It'll just be a waistband, and I'd have chapped ass. That's about it. That would happen. The boat says, I don't know if I missed this on the show, but another one is Tears for Fears song. Everyone wants to rule the world. You ever heard that one? What? Now, which one's that? I don't know.
Everybody wants to rule the world. Do. They wrote that when they were like 16 in high school.
What? And that doesn't exist?
Dude, I don't know the Mandela effect with that one. He got me. He got a new one on me there.
Totally Random says it's the Jews.
Hey, listen. Well, there's people that say that the Trump family has access to a time machine. They're saying the story goes that over 100 years ago, J.P. Morgan gave Nikola Tesla a loan to do some, new experimentations in his lab, and then when he discovered a free energy solution. With just like an open room, just electric static currents shooting everywhere, and he could just power any device in the room. Apparently, it didn't serve J.P. Morgan to be able to make money, so they burned down his lab. And the first people in there to scrub the lab, to get all the stuff that was left and just to take it away and put it in some bunker somewhere, was Donald Trump's great uncle, who stumbled upon, some of Nikola Tesla's great inventions that we never seen. And then there was this book series about Baron Trump, the adventures of Baron Trump. And he had his friend or dad was named Don. So that's where that story comes from.
That's crazy. The boat says they're saying the words, the world, were never in the title or song. Okay, that's fucking weird.
Everybody wants to rule the... Well, I remember the world, so I hope it's not.
I definitely remember the world. Interesting. You have Samuel Ross says they both existed, and it's Bernstein, for fuck's sake. Bernstein. I threw in fuck's sake. He didn't.
Oh, you ever seen Hannibal? No, Hannibal. Silence of the Lambs.
He said it wasn't on the underwear, but it was on the package as far as the cruise. What'd you say? Not the
cornucopia.
The cornucopia, yeah.
Yeah. But apparently in Silence of the Lambs, hello, Clarice was not a line. He apparently just said good morning, Clarice, not hello, Clarice. Even though there have been pop culture references in other movies of people saying hello, Clarice. They won't be able to gaslight me, and they won't be able to make me disassociate my beliefs from my current path. And I think that's the problem. That's what happens to people is they get overwhelmed by information. They get shot down. They get their preconceived notions of their reality or their reality kind of shot down or taken down a peg. And then they kind of just emotionally, mentally submit to the will of the group. And they just think, okay, well, you know what? I'm not so sure about that. I'm not so sure about this. It's just safer for me to just kind of get in line. That's how they got us by the balls right now. We need to start getting our minds and bodies healthier, and we need to start hyper focusing on the details of the things that we are consuming by food or by watching or listening. That's the only way out of this.
Yeah, dude, I absolutely love that. I don't know if we have any unread. I've been reading the comments as we've been going, man. Thank you, everybody. So any last words, bro? That was a fucking great conversation. Love it, bro. We're 15 minutes over. I am actually going to be on another show. I'll tell you all about that in a second. But, dude, tell everybody, if you have any place where they can find you or what they want you to know about, or any last words.
Yeah, so this is a really important topic to me. I think that people have been subdued to lose their power, to forget that they actually can have great influence in not only their own lives, but also affecting the people that are around them. And we need people to start rising up. We need more lions, because lions aren't concerned with the opinions of the sheep. We have too many sheep right now. People kind of forgot how to, strut their stuff. And what I want to do is I want to create a channel that kind of gets people more in line with their own divine spark, their unique authenticity, so that people can be more like you, Mike, and bold and not scared to say and do what they actually think and feel. So
Dude,
that's
rise and rise again till lambs become lions. I love that quote. That's actually from Robin Hood with Russell Crowe. I watch. There's a series of movies that I watch every night to put myself to sleep, and that's one of them because I love them. But that's a great movie. But it's we need to do that. You're right, bro. We need way more individuals. I push for it. I push for people being open thinkers. You have to be able to process the garbage that's coming at you, and that's why. You hear me say a lot that we have to be defense mechanisms of our own mind, and we have to honestly be aware, be open to the possibility that there's some deeper next level shit that we can't even possibly even fathom. And then there's some stuff to where we are getting caught up in the narrative. We are getting caught up in the brainwashing. We are getting caught up in those things. And I use this analogy a lot, but I got caught up in it when I started defending whiteness, when I never identified as white in the fucking first place. You know what I'm saying? But somehow they got me to identify as white, and then not only identify as it, to defend it, and to defend it vehemently. And I know how to argue, so I could win white arguments. And then I realized, what the fuck am I doing? You don't even understand what white means. So like I was arguing people that didn't even understand what black meant. It was just such a fucking crazy dynamic. But we have to be able to push through that. We have to be caltrops, and we have to recognize when we are being propagandized and we are being just lied to us and formed in our minds formulated for us. And dude, thank you for bringing light to this, man. I really, really appreciate you. Everybody, he is Rickpedia. He is going to be with us on Fridays. Can't be every Friday because this fucking asshole has to work. I mean, you have to have a job like a dick on Fridays. You know what I'm saying?
I try not. I try to stay away. I like being here on Friday. I feel this is a great place.
I appreciate it, bro. Anytime. You're welcome. You're welcome anytime. Everybody, listen. If you are not doing anything in a couple hours and you want to veg out with us, we are going to be talking. I'm going to be talking my Tyler Oliveira experience, among other things, on a great show. Check him out on Rumble. They're also on YouTube. They're called I Came With Fire, the I Came With Fire podcast. Dude, I watched these guys from a budding little show to they have grown into just a tremendous show. And if you want to check me out there, I'll post the links on my Facebook page. It is I Came With Fire on Rumble and YouTube. Check me out there. It is going to be 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. But everybody as well, be sure to finger the fuck out of my like button. If you do, by chance, want to ever give me money for the show, give me a tip, give me a donation, help out the cause, beer money. I need beer. That's for damn sure. Hit me up on Zelle. I have the other ones. Really appreciate every one of you guys. You don't even have to hit me up on Zelle. You could do your own thing and helping me out by fingering my like button or sharing. That's really the biggest thing you could do for me, guys. We are trying to grow this. We need a legion of caltrops, because there's one thing that I do want to program into your mind is that you have to be your own defense mechanism. Whether it's in your mind or in your personal space, or like he said, it starts with your body. Like Rickpedia said, it starts with your body. We have got to be our own defense mechanisms. We got to keep ourselves strong. And the way we keep ourselves strong is by coming together as a solitary unit, not a bunch of divided people that are living the way the programmers are trying to get you to live. And that's how they want us. They want us programmed. They want us arguing with ourselves. And most importantly, they want you doubting yourself. And we have to get past that, man. Be a caltrop in your own mind. And I'm going to tell you something. When you become your own defense mechanism, you're going to start realizing that things can't touch you. The things that they hurt people with, they don't hurt you anymore, because you realize what they're trying to do. And I realize what everybody's trying to do against me when I put these videos out. And that's why none of their bullshit affects me. That's why it's hard for them to come at me, because I am my own defense mechanism. Be yours. Thank you, Rickpedia, man. Really appreciate you. Thank you, everybody, for watching. This Caltrop is out. Later.